Oi lali hilali lai murkhonayoy Oi lali hilali lai Ibili bohagot biyana patile dehaloi nu puribo Tanu murehili bungleg Jobon golele theng theng dehaloi nu puribo Tanu mure senaiti oi sobonore logori oi sobonore logori oi dipiya hi moromor mat murehili bungleg Jobon golele theng theng dehaloi nu puribo Tanu mure senaiti oi sobonore logori oi jobonore logori oi jobon gole paboloi nai.
A very warm welcome to all our viewers. Welcome to this very interesting chat that I am about to have with this very lovely, warm, chirpy, gorgeous lady. Every one of you already know about her. She is one of the leading singers, poet, lyricist, writer and much more, Maitrayee Patar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
I love your
you.
name.
Thanks. Thank you so much. And you know, it has always been wonderful meeting you.
Thank you.
I find you extremely warm. The smile of yours is just wow.
Thank you. So kind of you.
lovely. It's wonderful. So how have you been?
I'm good.
Very
Pretty
busy.
good actually. Yes,
during
busy.
this
Yes, it
time?
has been a very busy 1 year to be
Yes.
precise, and busier last 2 months. So,
I'm sure. And April ka mahina and
Yes.
your hands must be absolutely
Yes,
full.
the plate is also full.
Right.
Putting
Yes.
off a few things actually
Yeah.
to accommodate. But very grateful, and I feel very blessed to be this busy also. Actually,
True. Yes. So, anything special during this Bihu season?
So so basically, as musicians, this would officially be a second Bihu season, but technically our first, because last year was again hit by lockdown, second wave.
Yeah.
So this year we are really excited to see how Bihu is going to treat us, because we'll be also experimenting on the Bihu stage. We are not Bihu performers otherwise,
Yes.
so our genre
Yes,
is
yes.
different.
Right.
So we're very excited. Let's see.
Okay.
And I have also been working on a Bihu number, a Tiwa Bihu number.
Yes.
So if it gets ready, and I have no hurry,
Yeah.
so if it gets ready by this season, I'll release it. Otherwise, next season. So
Right.
yeah.
So that is something specific that you are working
Yes,
on.
yes,
Anything
yes.
else? That's of course, you know, Tiwa community. We have. I don't think we have seen any albums or anything happening. So I'm sure we would definitely love to.
Yeah, so they have done a couple of Bihus have been done on the
Right.
Tiwa community is a very popular community nowadays.
Yes.
Because their folk music is very rich and very colorful. So after missing is so colorful, no?
Yes.
So I can see a lot of people, a lot of artists bringing out Tiwa elements. But I want to sort of also have a take of my own on this.
Yes,
So
yes.
I was trying to bring in out the raw elements.
True.
Let's see how
Yes,
it
how
goes.
it goes.
Yeah.
Yes. Your recent release has been Ojana.
Yes, Ojana was released actually on 13th March, almost the last day of Phagun.
Yeah.
So Phagun is my favorite month.
Okay.
So it's the month of love, season actually.
Yes.
It's a season of love. So last year we had released Mopia.
Oh,
Which was
that's
very
still going strong.
Yeah,
actually.
it was loved because we loved it, and it was also on love. And Ojana is again, it's my solo project.
Yeah.
Ojana is a very different take on love, and I thought all kinds of love all kind of love is great love
And needs to be celebrated.
and needs to be celebrated, and nothing better than Phagun in like
True.
to celebrate
Yes.
love. So we released it, and so
Yeah, I believe the topic there is a little different too.
yes. So I have yes, I told you it was a different
Yes.
take on love. So we tried to touch. I would not say we touched, but we
Yeah.
tried to sort of create a space common space for love, queer love,
Yeah.
if you will. So yeah, it is about a guy who feels very feminine inside and has a friend who's getting married, and the person is experiencing all the feminine qualities and feminine feelings
Yes.
through the friend is the anchor. It's a very beautiful take on love. So I believe, as we were talking
Yes.
a while ago,
Yes.
so I am in entertainment at this moment. So I think showing the beauty of all kinds of love,
Yeah.
or a situation, the beauty of any situation is the sole purpose of entertainment most of the
Right.
time. Yes, we do have performances which also brings out issues and sorrows,
True.
and there are platforms.
Yes.
But in music needs to heal the soul most of the time.
Absolutely.
So I thought, if I'm talking about love and if it is about queer love, I better not bring out the agony at the moment,
Yes.
and I better bring out the thrill associated
Yeah,
with
the
love.
beauty.
The beauty, exactly. So I don't know how successful we were in portraying that,
Yeah.
but Ojana has been showered with a lot of love.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
Because before I met you today, before coming to you for this particular chat, many of the youngsters, of course, they are not aware of the inside story of Ojana, but they are already enjoying the number.
Yes.
They're totally in love, and they really love your
Thank you.
work. I mean, I actually asked them, your use of words is a little on the heavier side. You are very, very Ohomia and loaded words, if I may use that word. That is my feeling.
I don't know what's
So,
very. I'm just a homie, I guess. So very Kharkwa.
yeah, but you
So-
brought that Kharkwaness in a very nice manner, very eloquent. In fact, I feel, though we all speak a lot of English,
Yeah.
my personal feeling is that Ohomia bhasha to otike dhuniya, mitha bhasha.
Yeah, yeah.
And somewhere I feel that it's got a lot more distorted. Maybe we never did it intentionally, but
Yeah,
something
like as we're
has
talking,
happened.
it's a buffer zone, so
Yes.
it's very easy also to get diluted.
Right.
So yeah.
But your lyrics, your poetry, the use of your words, it's really beautiful.
That's so kind of you.
No, it
Thank you.
genuinely is,
Thank you.
because I have been listening to your songs, and of course I listen to other people's songs as well. So what I have felt is that, yes, I think I am learning my Ohomia one more time, and I'm loving it. I'm enjoying doing that. Yes, I mean, Lokinath Bejburua Hotel Likhit Hoi Joar Pisot,
Yeah.
Suddenly I feel, with no disrespect to anybody in the entertainment
I
space,
think we as a generation also went
Yes.
through a certain
absolutely
phase
absolutely
where holding on to the language was also very difficult. The kind
Yeah.
of things that were happening, globalization, competition,
True.
in terms of education also, if you
Yes,
say
yes.
you need to learn English and you
Yeah.
need to be at par with everybody else. So that kind of, I'm not saying that they should be, but this kind of discourse was going on.
Yes, yes,
So-
which actually forced
Yeah. So I believe that art can be one form where you can say make people learn things without really forcing them to. So I really believe, like, even music is one way, stories is another way. Like, if I take from my own childhood
Yeah.
memory, I don't remember being taught this language by my parents. I only remember being told stories and made to read stories. I was really made to read a lot of stories. There was this supplement, and it was a, what do you call it, comic book.
Right.
Sando Mama. Chanda Mama was
Chanda Mama,
from
okay.
Chennai, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong.
Yeah.
It was translated to Ohomia, and at our times, like, Chanda Mama, Tinkle, Amar Chitra Katha was a thing.
Yes, yes, Tinkle has always been,
So my father was very tricky that way. So he would bring, and I was first fascinated by the Sandoma illustrations.
Right.
The illustrator just passed away last year, I guess. It's a fantastic illustrator. I forgot his name at this moment. But I was very fascinated by that. So first you go to the visual
Yes.
thing, and then I would try to read the stories. So my father got to know that this kid is interested.
Yeah.
So what he did was he made it scarce. Demand and supply. Okay.
Okay.
So my father would
Interesting.
say, if you finish this lesson,
Yeah.
I would allow you to read this portion of the story. So two things happen. We would study and then we would expect to read the comics and Sandamama after that. In that process, what happened, and Sandamama had very rich Assamese translation. So even if it was originally South Indian, but you will be amazed, even I have this talk at home, they were so colloquially translated. Like all the fokora zuzona, all the phrases and idioms in Assamese were incorporated. And till very late I didn't know it was not Assamese originally. So that is, so what I want to say is, one cannot learn by forcefully telling oneself that you have to learn this. You can after a point, but language is a very delicate subject, I think.
It is, and very sensitive also.
Very sensitive. So if you cannot make the experience pleasant, you really cannot learn
pushing
it.
The
cannot internalize
away.
it. And unless you internalize a language, you really don't learn it. So that is the whole point.
Yes. But you know, I'm sure by now you know, the youngsters love your numbers. They feel, you know, my colleagues, Barsha, Plabita, very young people, in their 20s, barely in their 20s they were telling me that, you know, ma'am, we really love, like, it's so soothing, you know, transports us into a different world altogether. We can go on listening to their songs. Of
so
course,
humbling to know though.
You know, you, if we are talking to you, we have to mention Shankuraj also.
Yes, of
so
course.
Wonderful, I think
it's the combination,
combo,
you know. Yes, I mean, we were very lucky also to come together like this. It's not only the words and it's not only the composition, it's a combination, and the music, of course. So we did a lot of experiment with sound also. So I come from a literary background, so I had my words with me and some sense of music. Shankuraj had his great sense of music with him and sense of sound. So we experimented with sound and we were looking for new sound. I think that sat really well with the words.
True.
So we are lucky. I think Assamese people are lucky. All of us are lucky combined.
Yes,
so
it's, you know, it's true.
Nobody's singular effort.
Melodies.
Yeah, I think
your
so,
creations. You know, your entire team's creations. Real sense में मुझे लगता है कि that is what maybe we mean when we say melodies.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your. I mean, how do you like celebrating Bihu? Whether it's Rongali Bihu, Mang Bihu.
So, I have spent my childhood, if you ask, so like partly in Morrigaon and partly in Guwahati. And our childhood Guwahati was nothing like this.
Of course.
Right. So, if you say.
Though you're still,
25, no, these are what you say. If 12 years is a jug, then it's two tazug. So, okay, so it's almost 25 years ago I'm talking about. So, Guwahati was not like this. The Ganesh Guri flyover changed a lot of things.
Yes.
But before that, and I'm also, you just saw today, I'm from the peripheral side of Guwahati, so outskirts. And there we still call our native places village, like Borbari Gaon, Bortila Gaon. So, and the culture was also like that. So, we were very lucky that way. So, you come 3-4 kilometers into the city and you get the urban setting, and you can just revert back and be in a very soha setting, you know, very village. So, our Bihu was always about this entire neighborhood coming together, and 7 days we used to do Bihu. So my mother would go with her own gang, my father would go with his own gang, and then they would come together also and go another gang, you know, and go Sutale Bihu. So that was nice, and there was a sense of purpose also. If I see, I remember there was a Namghar which was newly set, and they decided, let's do Bihu and collect the money and then we'll put it for Namghar. It was very nice for our young minds. Okay, and so it was good actually, and all the aunties, all the khuris and bormas they didn't have a peppa, okay, they will pretend they have a peppa and they do titi. It was so fun. And like Nasoni loe ahisu camera, Nasoni tuli loe jam sehera, Nasoni dorja mukhot ulomai thom. I had no idea, and this was sung by this Borma, Gogoi Borma of ours, okay, and she would simultaneously do the peppa also.
Super
and
fun.
And then that was the older gang.
Yeah.
The younger gang would be like this tiny children. There was, you know, toka.
Kids,
Yeah, and
toddlers,
bahar toka
yes.
they would do, and like barely in mekhela sador, and just you know, taking care of their clothes also, and then sing kunja. That their version was kunja lata kopo full fully ase nasoni bani, like tiny kids.
Yes.
So that is my Guwahati memory, and it was nice. I was never a dancer kind. I would always sit back and enjoy.
Yes.
So but the music would come in. So I was an absorber of music, I guess. So yeah. And in Magh Bihu, we used to go to our father's village, Deutar Gaole, in Morigaon, and there we sort of had a different kind of Bihu.
Yeah.
They would have competitions and all this, you know, you will see the Buaris from Gao, they're so strong. In Rongali Bihu, we used to have this Rosi Tana-tani competition and running competition. You would see, like, you know, this daughter-in-law of the house would otherwise be very busy in household chores. That day, like, no uroni, nothing, and just, you know, just take them transformed, and they're so fit. They would just run, and it's just so fresh to see. So I got a very, from a young age, I got a very beautiful understanding of women. You know how women are so different in different settings, and the same person who is running, like, you know, and her mekhela is up, up till the knees, and they're running, doing everything, and in front of their borjanas also. It's not like it's only a women sort of thing.
The brother-in-law.
So I would say the elderly men. And the same person, if you go to their house in the evening, they will just come and serve you tea, and you know. So I had a very complicated understanding of women. Like, what are these individuals, you know? So that shaped a lot of my understanding.
I'm sure. So therefore, my next thing that I would want to discuss, or in fact rather want to know from you, is your academics. Delhi School of Economics, Sociology, and then you did your Masters from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, again specializing in women's studies. So do you think, you know, what was that childhood influence somewhere there in the back of your mind, or was this a very conscious thought of yours that this is something you wanted to know more about gender issues, about women?
So as a sociology student, first, I would say that, like, no, nothing is really conscious. Everything that we do consciously has a backdrop of our subconscious. Right. So whatever we have experienced, we are a product of our experiences and understandings. So yes, it was a conscious decision backed by the experiences that I had as a person, as a woman, as a whatever you want to call it. So as I told you a while ago, I was a science student in 11-12. Okay, and in school, sociology had social studies had no gender lessons. So my only chance would have been 11-12 humanities and sociology. I didn't have that. So when I went to Delhi University, I shifted stream and I shifted to humanities. I was supposed to do psychology, to study human behavior. I was always intrigued by it. But then I ended up in sociology. It was, by the way, through ECA, extracurricular activities quota. So my music was again my savior then. So it was through music, a very tough competition they have. So 5% seat is reserved for ECA, and I got through music, not through. I was good, but yeah, music was better.
So getting into DSC and TIS, anybody knows how tough it is.
So so when I went into sociology, first year they had a paper on introduction to gender. That was the first time I bumped into the term gender, and it blew my mind off. I was like, what is this thing? And you know, interesting part is, everything that I had been feeling, the discomfort regarding certain customs, discomfort regarding certain way of being or how we are told to be, you know, and I didn't have any theory to back that up. We would always question, me and my sister would always rebel and ask our mother, why is it like this? You know, I'm not supposed to say, for example, we are from a Hongkori background, and the day we came of age, we were made to follow certain customs and certain days of isolation, Tulonibia, for example. And we were always inside of us, we were furious, like why would this be? And you know, I cannot go out with and I had always had male friends who would just could not come and visit, and we couldn't play, and I was a sports person. I was always a sports person in school. I was the best runner and all. So this was so limiting. But we had no theory to back it up, all right. So when I was going through this introduction to gender, I was like, wow, this is my story. And then I realized like people from Africa, people from east side of the world, China, you know, Japan, then Australian Aborigines, US, everybody, all the women are going through the same thing. Then it struck a chord. Like, oh wow, I am not alone.
Right.
It was so liberating, I can't tell you. So that hooked me further into gender. So first year it was a compulsory paper, Introduction to Gender. I think it's very wise to make it compulsory because everybody should learn. Third year was an optional paper. We had industrial sociology, we had ecological sociology, ecology and sociology, we had gender. I chose gender.
Of course.
Yes, and I was like, I have to read more about this. Then that saga didn't end there. Even in when I came for masters in Delhi School of Economics, I took gender again, gender in the city. We did research on the widows of Vrindavan, how their gender is shaped. Then we did a gender and campus wala thing, everything. And my friends were also like, you know, we connected over this. So all of my friends are, if you see, they're passionate about this thing. So yeah, and fate had it that, you know, I gave an entrance into TISS, and TISS is one of the best places to study about any kind of social sciences, application based, if you want to say. So I got into women's studies, and that is when your question comes at a conscious decision to study menstruation. So I was so infamous in my home for fighting against the menstrual beliefs. Like I would say, Ma, what is this? I mean, you know, if you become polluted, if me touching you, you are walking on the same ground. I like stupid excuses, okay. And then my mother would like, I sent you to study outside just for, you know, ye kya ho gaya? Like, I didn't send you for this. So I was like, then like, you know, all arguments will come to an end when she will say, now you've become more educated than me.
And she must be walking out of the room, out of the conversation.
So I was like, you know, this won't happen like this. I have to do really something substantial and show her or whoever. She was an anchor. Like my mother is a very loving person, but their identities and their understanding are shaped by what they have experienced. So we can't really blame. So that's when I decided ki chalo, if I cannot protest in application, I will write a thesis on this. Like, you know, menstrual taboos and negotiations was my thesis, MPhil thesis. So I actually figured out the negotiation techniques of the women, like all these customs and traditions that you're talking about. Do women really follow them, or is it of convenience? Is it shaped around? And I found that it is shaped a lot around convenience. So that's there. So that's when I put my mother, Mama, see, this is what it
Oh, poor mom.
So my mother, she's much better now. So she knows that like, you know. And it has been a fun journey. I got to learn a lot of things. I got to unlearn. In fact, I got insight into so many things that are outside of normative spaces. So when I was interviewing women, I got to know that so many things are parallelly running. Other than these issues, so it will be a long topic if we talk about it.
Yes, but I would really love to, you know, dedicate this one.
Thank you for asking this question.
No, I actually wanted to know because I'm sure people would also want to know the other side of Maitrayee Patar.
I am a passionate person about gender and society. So, and that's, I think Ojana was a very, very crisp outcome of how I wanted to bring it into the popular space, because it's a very tricky thing to do.
It is.
You cannot really...
the topic itself?
Yes, it's a very sensitive topic. You may end up hurting a lot of sentiments. So I don't know, but there's a long way to go.
Yes, yes, of course, and it is. I think it is only now that our artists, the younger ones like you and a few others, who are very carefully treading into that space of LGBTQ plus, which is of course a commendable job.
Time we did actually.
Yes, but like you said, very sensitive,
Yeah,
very
sensitive.
emotional.
Yes, yes.
Because without it, obviously you will never want to intentionally hurt anyone.
Yes. Yes.
But the very portrayal of
Yeah.
stories
Yes.
in that space is.
But I'm
extremely-
grateful to have, been performing in a time where we have a very sensitive audience also. Like, I
Yes.
think we are in a much better time in terms of entertainment and music. If I talk about music
Yes.
specifically, people are like what we have experienced, they're developing a sense of sort of music taste, if you say. So I think we are also lucky that way to have come in this time.
Right.
And it's a time of access. You can Google anything. YouTube is there, and you can it's a sea of information. You tend to get lost in that sometimes, but I think if you want to really learn about something, for example, we are constantly mentioning the word queer, we're constantly mentioning the word LGBTQ, gender, you can always look it up. So that is the best part.
Right.
And
Yes.
I think
which
I'm
is why-
grateful for my audiences also.
Yes,
So,
for understanding,
yes,
accepting.
yes. And
True.
Aujana has received so much love, especially the actor I must mention, Himanshu. He has done a fantastic job.
Yes.
It's very nuanced. Yeah.
Yes, very nuanced.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what's next on your agenda? You've already spoken about your project for the Diva
yes.
music thing. So, what's happening next?
My PhD.
Ah.
So I need to finish off my PhD first. I'm in the last leg and it has been hanging. My supervisor is so supportive,
Yeah.
but I really hope to finish it in time. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen. But musically, yes, it's an ongoing journey. So I have plans on doing something along the folk music line.
Okay.
Let's see how much it materializes. It's too early to say at this
Yeah.
moment, but the core thing is I would be experimenting with sound
All right.
and folk. The
Okay.
folk music element and the sound element. I think that is our way to bring it into the global space. And my aim is not only Assam or
Right.
only country.
Yes.
Folk also has a very universal appeal, So
Yeah.
when I don't understand African folk, what they're
But we love-
singing, but we love it, Scandinavian folk.
Yes.
So I think Assam is so rich in terms of folk and the language. I'm so passionate about even language also, the folk language. Even one feeling
Yeah.
or one situation has n number of words to describe it, and you must pick the correct one. Even synonym, there are so many synonyms, but you cannot just pick any synonym.
True.
You have to hand pick the
Yes.
correct synonym
Yes.
and that in order for it to sound and feel dot on point.
Yeah.
So yes, let's hope we can do things along those lines.
So, do you read a lot?
I'm very infamous, yes, for reading. You read too much. Why are you studying so much? Abhi tak kyun? You're 31 and why are you doing still studying? Still studying? When are you going to finish? I think reading is an ongoing process. I
Yes.
cannot not read. So like you listen to music, like you
Yes.
play,
Yeah.
whatever, like you breathe maybe. I
Yeah,
love
so that
reading.
reading comes that
it's
naturally to
naturally.
you.
I mean, I love reading.
Yeah, it's part of you basically.
It's part of me. I mean, if
Yeah.
you take away reading from me, I won't be me. So,
Right. Yes. So, what are some of Maitreyee's likes and dislikes? As a person, I mean, what kind of a person are you?
I don't know. I'm a very regular girl, regular next door girl, I guess.
Yes, that you are actually.
Easy breezy. I
Yeah,
like
you-
things easy breezy.
Yes.
Although, of course, I have my own complications inside the head.
Yeah.
But we all do. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I think I'm usually
You're
easy.
basically simple,
I'm very simple. I mean,
happy, go lucky.
yeah, I'm mostly happy.
Yes.
When I'm unhappy, I'm very unhappy. But
That must
so,
be because you want to achieve more.
it is not about achieving most of the time. Yes, of course. I mean, I was talking to a friend the other day. It's not about the race, it's about the pace.
Right.
So, I'm not in any race, but yes, I would definitely like to be in pace. So, what I was doing yesterday, I want to do better today. So, that it be a pacing up. So that, but happiness and unhappiness has nothing to do with it. It's a cycle of life. You have to go through it.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, if you are aware and conscious, certain things really, I can feel a lot of things. So my feeling is enhanced basically. So when I'm happy, I can really, so when rain falls and it's a good weather, I am so happy. I like sometimes tell myself, are you going nuts? Like, you know, slow down. And so, and you can't even tell all of these things to a lot of people.
Yes.
So there are few people who understand that, and I'm like, I'm going, you know what, I'm very excited. Why?
Yeah.
Because the weather is very happy today.
There's a mad side too.
Yeah, I mean, madness is a part. I think there's a actually quote by Pascal, like madness is so necessary for human to exist that lack of madness will lead to another form of madness. So,
true, and that could be
when I read that, I was like, oh, this is me. So that's why I read. So because we don't read to necessarily find new things, we read for validations most of the time is what I feel.
Yes.
Like, you know, you go through a lot of things and then the books validate you. Oh wow, you're right, you know, you this, that. So anyway, jokes apart.
Yes.
So, but yeah, so I become unhappy when I see certain things happening. Like, you know, for example, in this where we are sitting right now, the trees are being cut entirely.
Yes.
And I know it's a process of evolution. We are meant to decay, but I don't know. I become sad, and a lot of things make me sad, and sometimes unnecessarily overwhelmed. But I'm learning to balance it out.
Right. So since you're already you're a writer, you do lyrics also, and you're part of this entire musical journey. So, and you know, conveying messages is something that our entertainment does. So are you planning to, because you said that there are many things which must be, you know, pricking your thoughts, making you unhappy. So is there some, will that reflect in your compositions and creations?
I think yes. In fact, Bartalap, Project Bartalap, which is our debut project.
Yes. With Shankuraj.
Yes, with Shankuraj. Shankuraj and I, were a bit troubled about certain things. It was very much internal, not about environment or not about ecology or gender or anything, but still a very valid question of people not being able to speak up or communicate. So communication was an issue that we thought that, you know, our world is facing. We are talking so much, but we are barely communicating. So it came from that. The entire project Bartalap, we have some sort of 7-8 songs are based. If you see the lyrics properly, then it communicates, right? So yeah, it's complex, but we're thinking like next, probably we're very passionate about the environment also.
Yes. So it'll
probably it will come up.
In a way, it will be cause based without being really preachy.
Yeah,
and
I don't believe in preaching because preaching barely takes people anywhere. Like you can only convince people till some extent by preaching. If they internalize you, you have to practice.
Yeah.
So if I can practice, then probably if somebody likes me, they will automatically. And it is not like one. It's very individual, no. And I consider myself very regular. I don't think I'm preachy enough, or I can preach. So, but
true.
yeah, let's see. And in time, it will happen probably.
How do you handle, you know, the highs and the lows? Highs, of course, you feel happy, but the lows, I'm sure, and also now that you are so popular, I'm sure there might be times when there could be some criticism, some negative comments. How do you tackle all of those?
So I don't know if I'm popular or not, but yes, public life has only begun has only begun a few years back. So I have always been vocal about a lot of things, like on social media also, about gender, about environment, about various issues, violence against women. I'll tell you a funny story. So recently something happened, and I'm not the kind of person who would restrict myself to not saying anything because of the fear of, you know, being criticized or anything. So I ended up saying. And there are a lot of people who said, you know, Arey, you're a singer, why don't you stick to singing? And you know, and where were you when this happened and that? And I was not very public then, but I still had raised issues. So this is what happens, you know, my journey as an individual has begun long back. As an artist also, had begun long before people started to see me as somebody, you know, so, and it will continue. It is irrespective of if I'm popular or not, or who I am for people. it is my journey. So I'm very particular about that. So if I see something is not what I'm liking as a person, as a citizen, I will speak up.
You will speak up.
So that has always been my approach.
Yes.
So and it will stay.
That will stay. Yes. So you have, you studied in some of the best of India's educational institutes.
I have been lucky, yes.
Yeah. And now you are back here in Guwahati. So this was something that you really wanted to do?
Yes. My life has not been a very long planning. I have taken decisions as it fits, as it has come to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has been serendipity, I must say. Meeting Honku was so serendipitous. I can't even it was so random, and something random has led to something so beautiful.
Absolutely.
I can't really complain that I did less planning. But yeah, for example, I was supposed to study psychology. Then I ended up in sociology, and it has been a beautiful journey.
Yes.
So, but coming back to Assam had always been inside me. I always knew that I will come back here. My family is here. I love my parents. I'm a family person also that way. So, and my root is in Assam.
Yeah.
And like fate had it, I came back and everything sort of fit in. And I love being in Assam actually.
Yes.
So
You were also part of Storytell, where you did a lot for Assamese literature.
yes, I mean I was working, it was a short time, but it was an enjoyable and lovely journey of 2 years. So I was working as a publisher for Assamese. It's a Swedish company. So yes, it has around 200 Assamese books now, audio books. Of Mamuni Resam Goswami, Homen Borgohai, Sayyid Abdul Malik, Kanchan Borua, all the good names and classic literature of Assamese, even Lokminath Besbura's Burhiar Khadhu, 30 stories have been read by Amar Setona Das Baidew.
Wow, yeah.
Beautiful. Okhimot Jar Heral Hima has been read by Kapil Borada.
Okay.
Beautiful, narration, and it has been loved so much. So I enjoyed my journey, and I am inherently a bookworm. So it was like a very nice, enjoyable. You're getting paid for what you like doing. So I loved it. But now I need to finish my PhD, and also I.
Yes. Yeah. So personally, what about your personal favorites when it comes to music, movies?
I am a movie buff. I don't get much time now.
Yeah.
But there was time I would have movie marathon with myself, 6-7 movies at a go. I love movies, like all kinds of world cinema, Iranian films and Tarkovsky, Silikar, everybody.
Wow.
I love watching films, and I love watching. I also do another thing, mute the sound and see the frames. I just love doing that.
Okay.
So Kurosawa's frames I love, and I just mute them sometimes, and it's just like amazing.
FTI jana nahi tha kya beech
mein? No. See, you can't do everything in life.
you never know with people like you.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think poetry, music, cinema, painting.
Yeah.
These are not really separated from each other. It's so
Yes,
connected, and
yes,
if you can if you can pick up the connecting points, your life becomes bearable and beautiful. So you had asked me what do I do in my low point? I go back to this shell of good music and good books and good movies. I'm also privileged that way. I can do that.
Yes.
So I take advantage of that privilege.
Yes,
I would say yes.
Very, very true.
So yeah.
Yeah, and your personal favorite song?
There's not one song. It's unfair for a musician to say that it's this one song, but there are many actually. But I can tell you my current favorite. Billie Eilish is my current favorite. I think I really loved her song. I think therefore I am not your friend. I think therefore I am. Nobody has ever talked like that philosophy in a song, no? So I loved it, and she's my current favorite. And girl went on to get Oscars also. So anyway,
talking to you is making me feel that you have many layers in you. I mean, I just can't say ki you are just one particular person. There are many shades to Maitrayee Patar.
I think so. I'm too many, and I think all of us are. It's just you can need to peel the right layers and sort of. So
yes. So
thank you for taking it out of me. Actually, as he is such a brilliant interviewer.
Thank you. This is actually, I just love to hear more from you. There's so much. One more thing I want to know quickly before we wind up is, I know you have this other engagement also. You have been into sociology and all of these things. So how much of that are you still able to do?
So I still managed to enroll into PhD.
Yes.
And I will finish it. Let's see where life takes from here. But I'm very passionate about these issues that I'm saying.
Yeah.
And in fact, quickly I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So with my friend, and it's not one topic only. It's not only say tribe, or it's only an ethnic community. But I have been writing a paper on loneliness among women in higher education with my friend. Bhaswati.
Yeah.
So, and this came up, so everything that I have ever done has come from my experience. So when we were, before lockdown this happened, like, we were in hostels, we were research scholar hostels, and a lot of things happen in that, your experience in the campus, outside campus, things in academics, outside academics, your private space in household, So, and we were discussing this and we thought that, oh my God, this is like, and we looked up. As I told you, this is an age of, internet, and we could look up, and they actually have journals on loneliness. There is something called loneliness studies. Can you believe it? So we were writing a paper. So my interests are like that, and I hope we will finish that paper soon. And we actually, like, all interviews are done. We conducted surveys also. The fun thing. So me and my friend was joking about it. If you're going through things, might as well make a paper out of it. That's what an academic does.
One more thing,
So,
you're already into too many things.
Yeah.
How many languages do you speak? Because your poetry got translated into Italian.
I don't speak Italian, definitely. So I was
Malayalam?
lucky. Yeah. It got translated into German also.
Yeah.
These are part of, basically, it got translated into Nepali. I had a friend who was an editor, and he is very fluent in Hindi.
Okay.
So one of my poems got translated into Hindi first.
Okay.
Then he got into Nepali. Italian was, again, there was this friend, Giacomo. He was editing an Italian magazine there. And such a brilliant guy. He was doing a PhD also.
Okay.
Then he got to me. I don't know where he read my poems. Then I sent some of my poems to him, and then he translated. In German, I was part of a residential translating poet workshop by Max Muller Bhavan, Bombay.
Yeah.
And it's not only me. Names like Jeet Thail and great Indian poets have taken part in this, where their individual language have been translated into German, and German to, I have also translated from German to Assamese.
Wow.
And it's a very unique concept. So we had a translator who would give us the gist,
Right.
and we would interpret it in Assamese. So it's not exactly translation, it's transcreation most of the time. So yeah, I've been lucky that way. It has been translated to Tiwa also. Bengali,
Okay.
Krittibash, Sunil Gangopadhyay,
Yes.
his journal Krittibash. So I have been very lucky. So it was published in an under 30, 30 poets under 30. So Kinshuk Shorkar, again, is a very established poet and translator. He translated my poems from Assamese to Bengali. I was very lucky, actually.
You're just 30 something and you've done a lot. Does it make you
not
feel
a lot.
I mean, no, it is. Two things here. How do you manage time? And how does your parents react? How does your sister react to all of these things,
My sister still thinks I'm useless because I'm always scolding her. But yeah, of course, she loves me. This is just the outer layer.
Yes.
And for my parents, I'm still this, they still complain because earlier they would complain about other things, now they would complain I don't give time. So anybody who would ask my father about me, Devta, he would say, I don't know, man, I have to take appointment from her. He's so sarcastic, but I'm very lucky. Like, I stay in the same city as them. And I get to see them, I get to see them getting old, and I have a beautiful bond with my family. Even my mother-in-law is around, so I'm very lucky that way, touch wood. Like, my family is very warm and always supportive. Like, my father and mother have taken care of me as I was a child, and now also when I return, from gig at 3 a.m. my mother-in-law will be up and she would cook for me. So it's really I'm very lucky that way. So not everybody is, I guess. So
and time management must be something that you have just
I don't know, it just comes on the go.
Yeah.
When you have too much on your plate and you have no option of putting them off, you just go
you
it
just
along.
manage.
I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, just punch
And
it through.
finally, would you like to hum something that's been there?
I have talked a lot.
Yeah. क्योंकि मैं viewers choice नहीं बोलूँगी, then it might be too many.
Etu katti diaksun. Yeah, since it's Bihu,
Yes.
and I'll hum a few lines from my upcoming Bihu, Tiwa Bihu song.
Wonderful, yes.
Oi lali hilali, lai mur khonayoy. Oi lali hilali, lai. Oi khatu bihu tolit, ghurai loi phurili. Oi mukla hoila lungoni, payoy. Oi lali hilali, lai. Hayoy, ibili bohagot piana patile dehaloi nu puribo. This is Kesa Bihu, okay?
Yeah.
Ekdam raw. ibili bohagot piana patile dehaloi nu puribo. Tanu mure hili bungleng, jobon golele theng theng dehaloi nu puribo. Tanu mure senaiti oi subonore logori oi subonore logori oi dipia hi moromor mat mure hili bungleng jobon golele theng theng dehaloi nu puribo. Tanu mure senaiti oi subonore logori oi jobonore logori oi jobon gole paboloi nai. E hoy kolino koli oi bihu mari boloi jang oi na dore pa. You see the wordings, okay? That's what I was talking about. E hoy kolino koli oi bihu mari boloi jang oi na dore pani re deha mur nuzure nodi re ghatoloi jang oi modoke sakilom torai torai oi poduli mukholoi sang oi lohanga dehare senai mur mohanga lohanga dehare senai mur mohanga ki jani dekha hai pang. So it goes on like that. Now lohanga is tall, okay, and mohanga is scarce. See how these two rhyme, and you can't really put other words in here. Yeah, so I think folk is beautiful that way. Thank you.
Wonderful. And
Thank
on
you.
that wonderful note, thank you so much.
Thank you so
once
much for
again.
inviting me. Yes, I had a great time talking to you. Yeah, I didn't feel like an interview.
It was
For us,
really
it's very less. It happens very less times that interviews don't feel like interviews and feels like good conversation.
So much.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved it. In fact, the first time we met, tabhi se
Thank you.
Yeah,
It was really ontorongo alap mane.
Yes, nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
wishing you the very best.
Thank you.
And wishing you a very happy Rongali Bihu.
Thank you, and same to you.
Thank you.
And we
To
have a
your
good
family
life.
as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
আৰু আপোনালোকৰ আটাইলৈকে ৰঙালী বিহুৰ হিয়া ভৰা উলগ যাচিলোঁ from Maitrayee also.
Yes. সকলোলৈ ৰঙালী বিহুৰ শুভেচ্ছা যাচিলোঁ। আপোনালোকৰ বিহুটি ভাল হওক, সকলোৰে স্বাস্থ্য ভালে থাকক আৰু সকলো সুখেৰে থাকক। ধন্যবাদ।